In this video lesson, we're going to learn about polluted water. We're going to learn how water becomes polluted, the different types of pollution, and also we'll learn about the steps of filtering water so that we can use it to drink. So the first type of contaminant is a physical contaminant, and that would include garbage, tree branches, silt, clay, and any other particles such as soil that would run off and enter the water system. Biological contaminants are living contaminants like bacteria and viruses. The bacteria often comes from the runoff from agriculture, and chlorination is generally used to kill these contaminants. Now, we learned a lot about biological contaminants from the Walkerton water crisis in 2000. So in the springtime, there was an especially rainy weekend, and what happened was there was a lot of runoff from the nearby farms, and manure ended up into the well water that supplied the town. At the same time, the chlorinator broke on the water treatment facility, so people were unwittingly drinking water that was contaminated with E. coli. And many people lost their lives, and many others were made ill with permanent health problems. So we learned a lot about the importance of having a governing agency to monitor our water so that we are always sure that our water is safe. Chemical contaminants are manufactured chemicals, metal ions, pesticides, and fertilizers, and any other chemical that ends up into the water system. Chemicals that are disposed of and buried in landfills can actually leach into our water sources. So that could be like, battery acid, household chemicals, even medications that we've thrown away can all end up into our water system. So we have to be sure that we're disposing of our chemical waste responsibly. Water treatment undergoes 4 different stages before it's sent off to be stored and distributed. So the first thing is the water is taken from the source and it goes through a process known as coagulation, then sedimentation, then filtration, finally disinfection, and then the water is stored for later use. The process of coagulation removes dirt and other particles that are suspended in the water. So alum and other chemicals are added to form tiny sticky particles called floc, which attract the dirt particles. And the weight of the dirt and alum, the floc, becomes very heavy. During sedimentation, the heavy floc particles settle to the bottom and the clear water moves on to filtration. In filtration, the water passes through filters, some of them made of layers of sand, gravel, and charcoal that help remove even smaller particles. Finally, we get to the disinfectant stage, and in this process, in most water treatment plants, a small amount of chlorine is added to kill any bacteria, viruses, or other microorganisms that might be present in the water, or even present in the distribution pipes that go off to carry the water to our house. Now, chlorine isn't the only method for disinfection. UV can be used as long as ample amounts of filtration has happened. And that would happen, you would use UV treatment in household water treatment products, but you probably would not use that for a large scale. You could also use ozone to disinfect the water. And bottled water uses ozone because after a time, after it's killed the particles, it actually breaks apart and becomes oxygen. So doesn't leave a harmful chemical behind, which is a benefit to chlorine because chlorine can, in large quantities, be carcinogenic and hard on our health. So the only problem is ozone's quite expensive.